What is up, everybody? In this video I just want to make a kind of not like ranking this or talking about this. I wanted to make a kind of different video that I seen a couple people make before. This is a pretty popular thing that people talk about, is if Kakyoin lived in part 3, it was in part 4. Now I've seen a lot of people do stories about it, kind of like, or animations, or so much cool stuff, and I've seen so many cool designs for part 4 Kakyoin as well, which is pretty cool. You know, I'm not gonna lie, those are pretty clean. In this video I'm just gonna be talking about just random stuff I thought would have been cool or could have been really nice to see, or when you could have put Kakyoin in, or when you could have introduced him, and be talking about what other people came up with as well, and other stuff to when they think they should have introduced Kakyoin if he did live in part 3. Because to be honest, I really was hoping Kakyoin was gonna live in part 3. I was betting on him too, because like, oh, they're not gonna do that to the 17-year-old. I mean, he's young, he's Jotaro's friend, you know, come on now, he's got to be the one to live. I really thought Polnareff and Avdol were going to be the ones to not make it, but Polnareff made it and returned in part 5, and I wasn't too surprised that Joseph made it. I didn't think they were gonna get him off. I was scared when he absorbed his blood, but I'm just pretty sad that Kakyoin didn't make it. It was sad seeing it, because Kakyoin was probably my favorite out of all the Stardust Crusaders. I know, I've said that a lot in my videos before, and if this is one of your first time watching one of my videos, you know, Kakyoin was my favorite. I've made a couple of videos with Kakyoin, and one video was dedicated to him because I think Kakyoin is a super cool character, and I've seen so many other videos talking about Kakyoin and how he's a strategist and all that. I was really hoping he was gonna live, but of course, you know, my favorite character had to go. But a lot of people I've seen, at least, when Jotaro got the man from the Speedwagon Foundation to hand him something, it was like a secret kind of thing. That's when a lot of people put Kakyoin would be introduced. Now, I was thinking Kakyoin was going to play a more, if he did live, I would want him to play a more, like, kind of different role. Yeah, he can make making a surprising appearance, and I don't want him to show up too early just with Jotaro in the car, but I would want him to make an appearance later when stuff starts to get a bit too, like, crazy. Maybe, like, helping Jotaro with Kira later, but I'd also want him to come not at the very last fight. He just shows up to make an appearance and is like, hey, I'm here, Jotaro. Like, no, man. I want him to do something cool, and I want him to have a relationship with some of the protectors of Morio, obviously. You know, don't make him too crazy, because he can't be more important than Jotaro. It would be nice if you did that, but I know that's just not gonna happen. It would be nice though, but that's just not gonna happen. No, I don't think so. I feel like Kakyoin could have such a cool relationship with any of the Morio protectors, while Jotaro's more of like a stern, you know, Jotaro already has a good relationship with Koichi. They have like kind of a mentor-student relationship, and Jotaro is literally glazing Koichi all the time. You know, oh, you're the most reliable guy I know, Koichi, you're so reliable. Like, you know, he's glazing him all the time, and I really think that's cool. That's cool, you know. That's cool that Jotaro and Koichi have a relationship. Okuyasu kind of has a relationship with Jotaro too, just kind of like, oh, this guy's a serious kind of guy. Josuke and Jotaro as well. It would have been cool to see Kakyoin kind of have a relationship with some of the people. That was one thing about JoJo that I always loved, is seeing the different characters interact. Kakyoin and Polnareff doing that goofy handshake. Jotaro and Avdol. Jotaro being like, you're one cocky son of a bitch, Avdol. You know, all those like goofy, heartwarming, stupid, funny moments that all these different JoJos interact, and all these different characters have interactions, which is why I love part 3's group so much. I love part 5's group. Johnny and Gyro's interactions, seeing them build like a relationship and a bond over time, stuff like that, I think makes JoJo even more than just, you know, goofy, silly, stupid stuff happening because it's bizarre. I think, yeah, that stuff is cool, but it would also be cool to see some like really cool, you know, relationship building and bonding things with Kakyoin and some of the other Morio protectors. Maybe Kakyoin and Rohan would have been cool to see. Kakyoin and Okuyasu may sound weird and not likely on the surface, but I do think that would have been cool to give Okuyasu some type of thing, you know, with anybody at least, because I feel like Okuyasu was a bit underutilized, because I loved Okuyasu. I was hoping they were going to use him a bit more, but, you know, it's okay that they didn't use him that much. I feel as though Kakyoin really could have gave a boost to some characters that didn't really have too much to do, like Okuyasu. Rohan definitely was like a pretty cool character. He was fine as it is. Some other characters like, you know, the dude with the puppet, since, you know, Kakyoin could have maybe related to him a bit. That's a bit of a stretch, but I think it would have been cool to see those two interact as well, because Kakyoin also had a little puppet man. You know, he could be like, hey, I have a puppet just like that when I was younger too. You know, they could have interacted, even though that kid is like kind of weird, not gonna lie. And he did get humbled and became short, so that's kind of a bruh. But I do think Kakyoin really could boost some other characters up in different ways, and it also would have been cool to see Kakyoin just change and develop and mature as a character over a different part's time, because I know a lot of people, why they don't like Kakyoin is because, oh, he's a bit bland, or like he's not too interesting, he's a bit boring. And I'm just like, bruh, come on, don't do my boy Kakyoin like that. I don't think he's boring, I think he's clean. Okay, I'm not gonna get too into it, because again, I have another Kakyoin video that I talked about this kind of stuff with. This is more about what he would do in part 4, and I think he would be a bit more mature in part 4. He was already dumb mature, okay? He was already just like, this dude is probably the most mature guy on the Stardust Crusaders other than maybe Avdol. Which was funny because this kid, he's like 17, you know, he's not like young. So, I think Kakyoin was already mature, but, you know, maybe Kakyoin had a mature but also funny side. He wasn't just a mature, like, you know, hard ass who was just like always super, you know, Jotaro, like that's Jotaro. Kakyoin could just, he was mature, but I feel like I could be friends with Kakyoin, you know. That's what I think about all the part 4 protectors as well. I think I could be friends with all the Morio protectors, really. Even Rohan, Josuke, you know, Shigeshi, Rip my boy, Okuyasu, Koichi, all those guys I feel like I could be friends with, because for one, they're like, you know, come on now, that's Josuke, and, you know, the Morio protectors are clean like that. 2, because there's just a difference in seeing like the group in Stardust Crusaders and the Morio protectors. The Stardust Crusaders feel more like just heroes than just like guys who are just trying to help out. They feel more like Batman than your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the Dark Knight, you know, they feel more like that. But with Kakyoin, I just feel like, yeah, this guy, I can just see myself getting along with, you know, because, you know, also he's dumb lonely too. He was lonely until he met the Stardust Crusaders as well. I really think it would have been cool to see Kakyoin just not die. I mean, I understand, like, yeah, he did die, and he had some really cool moments. It's not like he didn't do anything, but it's just like, bruh, just, man, like, come on, bruh. He had really dope moments, like, lolly, oh, like, he had some really cool moments, too. Or the Emerald Splash with the 500 meters. Yeah, he has cool moments, but I really wish I saw Kakyoin be somewhat prevalent in part 4 if he lived. You know, really, you could have just brought it. I would have just been happy to see my boy live. And if you want to kill him off in part 4, fine, you can do that. That's whatever. You could have done it in a cool way then, because I think he probably had the saddest death to me in part 3. Definitely biased, but I do think Kakyoin really could have done a lot in part 4. But that's going to be for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Sorry about another Kakyoin video, but I really just wanted to talk about this. So thank you guys for watching. Peace. Yeah.